Let's do a barely edited Do My Nails With Me. So I'm going to be doing a Christmas plaid stamped design, and I am using products from Analogy, so my coupon code, their website, and everything I'm using in the description box below. One of the things that I have been really enjoying about this barely edited videos that I've been somewhat off and on been sharing on my channel for a few months now is one, I like these longer videos because I think there are a lot of people out there that really enjoy like the whole process of painting the nails, and some may find it relaxing. I know I do. But also, I want to make in 2026, I want to start doing videos where I like time how long it takes me to do everything. And I think that'd be a really fun video to make, but I'm going to wait until the new year to do so. So I'm starting off with a base coat like per usual. And then I'm going to go in with this really pretty Christmas red. This is called Orly Crawford's Wine. I love this. Absolutely love this. This is one of my all-time favorite red polishes, and it is just perfect for this time of year. And I'm going to go ahead and try to do this as neatly as possible. One of the things I've been really trying to work on is painting my nails and not having to use a cleanup brush, which I have no issues with a cleanup brush at all. And there's absolutely no shame in having to use a cleanup brush. I just like to challenge myself to not have to use it, if that makes sense. And I do think it's getting easier for me, but definitely when it comes to my left or my right hand, because I'm right-handed, painting my nails with my left hand is definitely a little bit on the trickier side. Next year, I am planning on bringing back my freehanding with my left hand series. I stopped doing that for a while, and I need to go back to it as my left hand was doing really good with that for a while. And since I have not done that in quite a while now, my left hand is not as comfortable with doing that as my right hand is, if that makes sense, which I'm sure that's obvious because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the first coat here, and I'm going to be doing the second coat also. And then once I get the first coat, or once I get the second coat on, I'm going to go ahead and do my fast drying top coat first. Now, you do not have to do this step when it comes to doing nail art on top of polish. I just like to do it because I feel like when you do a fast drying top coat first and you let it dry, I feel like it just gives a little bit of like a smoother surface to work on. But I do not do this all the time, so if you don't want to, you do not have to do it. And like I said, I will have everything in the description box below. And another color that would be very close to this, if you were looking for another holiday red that's almost identical, Zoya Radisha is absolutely perfect. They are like maybe a hair off from each other, but they are absolutely perfect. And that's another one of my favorite holiday reds. I like literally like go between the two during this time of year. This design that I'm doing, you can use, you know, any colors that you want as the base. I've actually seen the Christmas plaid done with like green as the base, and it looks really, really cool. I love plaid, but there's something about Christmas plaid that I just absolutely love the most, and I feel like it just screams the holidays in my personal opinion. My thumbnail is definitely a little bit of an interesting shape because a couple of days ago I broke like the edge of it, and I didn't want to file them all the way down because I want to try to keep my nails as long as I can for the holidays, because I personally love having my nails a little bit longer on the holidays. But you do not have to have long nails. You can of course have short nails, and you can do any nail art design that you want on short nails also. But I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and file the nail. And not gonna lie, I'm not sure if I'm loving this shape, but it'll work until it grows back out. All right, so now that I have both layers of polish on, I'm gonna go ahead and apply my top coat. And I only did the top coat on camera to the left hand. I did not do it to the right hand. Why? I don't know. But I, my mind at that point was like, we're just gonna go ahead and film one side of the nail design. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get into the fun stamping. And like I said, I will have all my stuff from Analogy, all of what I'm using in the description box below. Now, this plate is not exactly a holiday theme plate. It was one of their fall launches. However, this image is perfect for Christmas plaid, and I love it. um, like I said, I love plaid, and I love stamping plates that make plaid designs so much easier. And one of my little tips that I wanted to share for anyone who struggles with stamping is you can actually prop your finger up on like a bottle of top coat, another stamping polish, something like this, and it'll bring it closer to you, and it'll help you feel a little bit more stable, especially if you're trying to do something on with your non-dominant hand. Now, one thing I do want to say that I should have done with this design is because stamping polish, or when you go to stamp, because when you pick up that image, that polish is going to be very, very thin. You want to work as quickly as possible, otherwise it won't adhere correctly and you're going to end up having to restamp it. So one thing I should have done with this, because I ended up having to fix a few nails, is apply a layer of either a base coat, you can use a top coat, you can use a sticky base coat. Don't do a thick layer, just do a thin layer, because you don't want to add like extra layers to your design. Because in my opinion, that makes it look bulky, which that may not bother someone, but that kind of is a pet peeve for me when it comes to doing my nails. But that'll help you add a little extra adhesion so that your nail polish sticks. And you can, of course, use liquid latex to, prevent any like cleanup that you needed to do. Normally I use liquid latex for stamping, but I didn't feel like I needed to, but if you prefer to do that, you can. They also make latex-free nail barriers if you're allergic to latex, but you can also use sticky tape. And I've also heard that Vaseline works really great. I think I tried that one time and I wasn't a fan of it. I think I found it a little too messy, but if that works for you, by all means, go for it. And this is also one of the reasons why I highly recommend getting a clear stamper, because you can see right through it. And if you're not comfortable with stamping directly onto the nail because you want to make sure that it lines up perfectly, I personally, when it comes to stamping things like this, it will drive me crazy if I do not get it 100% lined up perfectly. But you can actually make like a nail decal if you want to, and then just let it dry, and then you can peel it off, whatever you're using. I recommend a silicone nail art mat because that's the easiest, and then you can apply it directly to the nail and you are good to go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add a layer of smudge-free top coat now. This smudge-free top coat has been a game changer for me with nail art. I think I either tried at the end of last year or the very beginning of this year, and I've gone through so many bottles of this. It is, like I said, game changer for nail art. If you're a person that does stamping a lot, freehanding, polka dots, I highly recommend this, because you do not ever have to worry about your nail polish smudging when you go to top coat it. And then what I like to do is I like to let this dry for a few minutes, and then I go in with my regular top coat. Now, I wanted to leave it shiny, but of course at this point you can do a matte finish if you want to. It really just depends on what your personal preference is. And this is the hand that I kind of was having some issues with. I feel like trying to stamp with my left hand is a little bit tricky for me. I don't know why. I feel like I cannot get it like perfectly lined up sometimes, but I got there. But because of all the adjusting of the stamper I had to do, I definitely think I should have used, or I wish I had used, a sticky base coat, because that could have prevented me from having to redo a nail. But that's okay. This is the nail that I ended up having to redo because, as you can see, I'm taking a very long time to stamp, and this is not what you want to do with stamping because of how quickly that polish dries. But like I said, if you do the sticky base coat or a very thin layer of top coat or even base coat, you will not have that problem. It just depends on what you want to use. And another little tip, because I have been getting a lot of questions lately about how do I get my images to transfer. One of the main pieces of advice that I could offer is you need to make sure that your nail stamping plate is clean between each image, because dried polish will prevent it from picking up properly. You also want to make sure that you are working quickly, because like I said, the stuff will dry very, very quickly. But it also could be your stamper. Unfortunately, not all stampers are that good, and I myself have had to throw away multiple stampers because of this reason. So those are just some tips that I wanted to go ahead and share. And when I first got into nail art, stamping was not easy for me. I think it took me like 2 years to fully get the hang of it. So don't worry, you'll get it. It's a lot of practice, and everyone has to find their own rhythm with what is easier for them with stamping. But you'll get there. I promise you will get there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add my top coat, my regular top coat, to the left hand. At this point, like I said, you can 100% do a matte top coat. If you wanted to add a little bit of glitter, you totally could. It just depends on what your personal preference is. I thought this design turned out really pretty, and I will say, though, that Christmas plaid is something I've been wanting to do for my nails for a few years now, so I was really happy I did it this year. And I actually already have my Christmas nails planned for like the holiday, and it is based around this Christmas plaid, and I am so, so excited. I will be doing that as a Do My Nails With Me, but that will be up on my channel like December 24th. I'll be doing them on Christmas Eve. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the smudge-free top coat onto my right hand. I like to do the top coat to one hand at a time, just to let each hand dry. I don't know why, I just prefer to do it that way. And I'm going to go ahead and add the regular top coat. I like to wait at least maybe 5-10 minutes between smudge-free and the regular top coat, just because anytime you layer polish on top of polish, there is a chance it could bubble, but that's it.